All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our NBA video here today for Monday, June 14th. My name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally here today, don't forget to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. And speaking of Patreon, guys, we had an absolute horrible day yesterday on my Patreon page. Just got to be honest with you. But having said that, we still did improve to 4-0 in our last four $1.99 daily best plays on that Patreon site. And if you want to access today's daily best play, it's only going to cost you just $1.99. And if you sign up today for a membership on Patreon, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of June. We're also 8-2 in our last 10 NBA tier package picks on that Patreon site as well. And the good news is this, we have another NBA tier package pick going off here this evening. We currently have over 1,050 members who are signed up and active on that page. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some playoff basketball. We're going to start with the Sixers taking on the Hawks game 4. And that's going to be a 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off. Sixers up 2-1 in the series. They're also the 3.5-point favorite on the road with the total at 226, juice to the under. And if you like Atlanta in an upset victory on their home court here this evening, they're plus $1.35 for some money line cash. Now, Atlanta's lost their last 2 straight in this series. They're also giving up 123 points a game to the Sixers in this playoff series as well. Atlanta's in the bottom half of the NBA in second quarter points allowed. They've also lost to Philadelphia in 4 out of their last 5 head-to-head meetings. And speaking of Philly, they've gotten the W in 8 out of their last 10 outings themselves. 16-4 straight up in their last 20, going back to April 26th. Now the Sixers are in the top 5 in defensive field goal percentage on the road, and they're holding their opponents to just 107 points a night when they travel. Joel Embiid is averaging over 28.5 points a game in the postseason, 8 boards, 3 assists for the process. Now, JoJo is also hitting 42% of his three-pointers, and he's getting to the line over 10.5 times a game in the playoffs. Meanwhile, Tobias Harris is dropping over 23.5 points a game in the playoffs himself. 9 rebounds, 3 assists for Toby. The Sixers are also one of the better rebounding teams in the postseason. They're in the top 10 in offensive rebounding on the road, top 10 in defensive rebounding as well. Now, total-wise, Philadelphia went 23-16 to the under in their road games this season. Meanwhile, the Hawks are also 23-16 to the under when they play at the State Farm Arena. Atlanta's also gone 44-36 to the under for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward the Philadelphia 76ers minus 3.5 and the under 226. And with that, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup. Jazz versus the Clippers game 4, 10 p.m. Eastern start time. The Jazz are up 2-1 in the series. Having said that, though, it's the LA Clippers who are minus 5 at home with a total at 223.5. Now, despite an impressive victory in game 3, I still think there's some problem areas for Los Angeles in this game here. To start, they've struggled to cover the point spread against Utah in recent meetings. Just 3-7 against this spread in their last 10 contests with the Jazz. They also rank in the bottom half of the league in offensive rebounding at home. And if you're maybe looking to place a prop bet or two in this contest, just keep in mind that the Clippers are in the bottom half of the NBA in third quarter points allowed at home. So if you're looking for kind of a weird angle, just think of that particular stat. Now, they're taking on a Utah club who makes nearly 40% of their three-pointers when they travel this season. Donovan Mitchell's draining 44% of his three-pointers in the postseason this year. 32 points per contest for D. Mitch in the playoffs. 3 rebounds, 5 assists a game as well. Meanwhile, Jordan Clarkson scoring over 18.5 points a night in the playoffs off the bench. He hasn't missed a playoff free throw yet either. Very impressive. Now, the Jazz are in the top 3 in shooting the 3-ball, top 3 in scoring. Utah's averaging 117 points a night for the entire season. Now, Mike Conley is sitting this one out here tonight. He's battling a hammy injury, but I'm still very confident that Utah has enough scorers to offset the absence of Conley. Now, total-wise, Utah's gone 7-1 to the over in the 2021 playoffs. Meanwhile, the Clippers have gone 6-3 to the over in their last 9 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Utah Jazz +5 in the over 223.5. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like Philadelphia -3.5, under 226. And I like Utah +5 in the over 223.5. And one final reminder here, guys, we are 4-0 at our last 4 $1.99 daily best plays on my Patreon website. We're also hitting at 80% our last 10 NBA tier package picks on that Patreon page as well. And if you found yourself really enjoying this video here today, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. And if you're new here today or this week, please feel free to welcome yourself to the Brock Page betting community by hitting that subscribe button as well. I'd love to connect with you on a daily basis. And with that, guys, now it's time for some shout outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to Kaz Farrell, Isaiah Tanner, Will Savvy. Shout out to Jeff Roblo from Shreveport, Louisiana, who is actually in Cancun right now. Sounds like a good place to be, Jeff. But anyway, shout out to Alex White, Mike Wilkerson, Cesar Suarez, Ralph Portuando, Kevin Taylor, and last but certainly not least, best believe I got to give a shout out to my young bull from the 215. That's right, I'm talking about a shout out to my man, Filioso. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. Now, if you guys do end up getting a package here today on my Patreon website, just keep in mind, Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that if you opt in. So if you do sign up for a package here today on Patreon, it's not just a one-day package. If you sign up for a membership, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of June. We don't do one-day passes unless you sign up on the last day of the month. If you sign up today, you're going to get access to that content through the end of June. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.